Okay, today our discussion will be about how do we round off numbers. All right, how do we round off numbers? Now, rounding decimals, we can round decimals to a certain accuracy of number of decimal places. We've discussed already what they mean by decimal places, so I hope you remember that. But anyway, I'm going to review it on the next slide. Okay, so decimals to a certain accuracy number when exact values are not too important. We're looking for the accuracy of the value based on its place value, but we're not considering exactly the exact value of a certain given value. All right. Now, first, we need to remember our place values. All right. Before on our discussion, we separate the two with the decimal point. Now, going to your right, to your left is the whole number. Correct? It's whole number. Now, the numbers going to your left are your decimal part. All right? Your decimal parts. Going to the left, we start with ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000, 100,000, a million. Now, going to the left parts, to the right part, we start with tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000, 100,000s, millions, so on and so forth. So we round up numbers based on decimal value, decimal place value that is being asked. Remember that one always. Now, to round a number to the nearest tenth. Now, let's have an example here. How do we round a number to the nearest tenth? We have here 51.048053. Okay, 51.048053. We round it to the nearest tenth. Remember the word tenth. This is in what part? Left or right? This is in the decimal part. All right? Because of the word th, tenth. Look at the next place value to the right of hundreds. All right? So therefore, look at this. If this is our 10th place, yeah, this is our 10th. Next, this is our hundredths place. All right? Look at the place in the hundredths place. If it's 44 or less, just remove all the digits to the right. So we remove all the digits. But if it is 55 up, then add 1 to the value or the place value that we're trying to round off. Now, if you're going to look at here, yeah, 44, all right, 44 here, 4 here is less than 5, correct? So therefore, since it is less than 5, and we're trying to round off this number here, the 10th place, therefore, we forget all the number here. That's why our answer is 51.0. Because if it is less than 5, remove it all. But once it is more than or equal to 5, then add 1 to the place value that you want. All right? That you want to round off, or add 11 to the value which you are going to round off. All right? Now, to the nearest 100, this is the next example. Again, to the nearest 100, this is still in your decimal part. Okay, that is still in your decimal part. Now, we are going to identify, this is tenths, this is hundredths, and this is thousandths. Now, in this case, we sent to round off the one in the hundredths form. So therefore, you look at the number after that. So it is in the thousands place. If it's less than 5, again, 8 is greater than 5. Yeah? 8 is greater than 5. So if it is less than 5, then you erase the numbers after hundredths place. Now since 8 is greater than 5, alright, we follow this. Since 8 is greater than 5, therefore we add 11. Alright, we add, no, sorry, not 11. We add 1 to the number before the thousands place, or the place value for which we need to round off. So in this case, we add here plus 1 because this one is greater than 5. So therefore, the answer is 51.05, and the rest of it, gone. Right? From here, gone. But we have to add plus 1. That's why it becomes 51.05. Again, the key in rounding off numbers is you look at the place value that you need to round off. Then look at the number after that. Now, when the number after the value that you need to round off is less than 5, then copy the number you want to round off and the rest of it, erase it. But if the number after the place value that you need to round off is greater than 5 or equal to 5, add 1 to the place value that you need to round off, and the rest of it, erase it. Remember that one always. Your base number in rounding off is 5. Now let's have operation of decimal. Alright, operation of decimal. Now, why are we discussing operation of decimal, which we are just going to round off numbers? Because sometimes you need to, you know how to apply operations once you know how to round off numbers. Okay? Now, if in order for us to go for the progression of learning that we're going to have, and you have to understand how are we going to use estimation or rounding off of numbers, especially in decimals, then we're going to apply it on its operations. Adding and subtracting decimals. It is easy if you're comfortable with carrying and borrowing. Just line up the decimal points, alright? Align the decimal points, alright? Line up or align the decimal points if necessary. Add zeros to the end if it's not complete. I'll give you an example. You have here 23.6 plus 1.75 plus 300.002. Now, first step that you're going to do is line up the decimal point. Line it up. So it means to say the numbers to your right are aligned, and the numbers to your right are aligned. Yeah, and after that, notice 0.6. All right, the highest number of values that you have to your right is 3 values. So 1, 2, 3. So therefore, every missing part there, you add 0 so that it would be complete. So it means to say you have to block the column of numbers or values by adding zeros or 0 to the right. Alright, you have to block them. Then you start adding all the numbers now. And then again, you don't miss to write the decimal point at the end. Example 2, we have to subtract. We have 54.26 minus 1.1. Again, align your decimal. I mean, when our decimal are aligned, so it means to say our values are aligned. So once our values are aligned, then we start. Notice we add 0 here again because there is an empty. Again, we blocked it. Alright, by adding zeros. It means to say you complete it. Now, if you're going to add it, going to the right. Notice there's an empty space. We don't add 0 because the instruction is to the right, not to the left, to the right. So therefore 6 plus 0 is 6, minus 6 minus 0 is 6, 2 minus 1 is 1. You use the operation subtraction, and then don't forget to write the decimal in your final answer. Again, remember this, once there is an empty spot within when you align all the numbers, add 0 to it, but make sure only going to the right, going to the right. Next, how do we multiply and decimal? To multiply and multiply decimals, just multiply as usual. Then count the total number of digits above the line are on the right and the decimal point. So means to say you have to count the decimal places. How many are there? Then place your decimal point to your final answer. Let's have an example. 40.012 times 3.1. Again, unlike addition and subtraction that you need to align the decimal point, here it's okay. Right? It's okay. You're going to multiply the numbers as it is a whole number. So like you have 1 times 2, 1 times 1, 1 times 0, 1 times 0, 1 times 4. Then we'll be able to bring it down. Next is, right? Next is 3 times 2, 3 times 1, 3 times 0, 3 times 0, then 3 times 4. Okay? And after that, alright? And after that, we add. Then we bring down all the numbers. Okay? We bring down all the numbers. And then, after you add everything, you count the decimal places. Alright? Count the decimal places. You see, here for the first is 1, 2, 3 before the decimal point. Here you have 1 before the decimal point. So if you're going to count it, 1, 2, 3, 4. So therefore we count here 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you put your decimal point. Okay? I hope it's clear. You multiply it as it is. Alright? Multiply the numbers as it is. It is. And then add. After that, you count the decimal places and you use it through here. Alright? That's how you multiply decimals. Next, how do we divide decimals? Dividing decimals. Dividing decimals is the same as dividing other numbers, except that if the divisor or the number being divided one has a decimal point, move it to the right as many places as necessary. It is in a whole number. Then move the decimal point to the dividend. Note that the decimal point in the quotient's answer is placed above the one in the dividend. Let's have it. 1.25 divided by 5. Now, notice there is what? 1, 2 before the decimal point. 2. Here we have none. So we have 1, 2. We add 2, 0. 1, 2. Alright? We add 2, 0. And we move this 1, 2. So it becomes whole number. Then it becomes whole numbers. No more decimal point. Where are you going to put the decimal point? Yeah? Where are you going to put the decimal point? Here. So therefore 125 divided by 5 is 4. So this is 0. We have here, this is 20, carry here. And then we have here 8 plus 2, 0, carry 1. And we have 500 here. And the answer is 0. Alright, or 0. Okay, so since we add 2 zeros after that, then the answer is 4. Okay? Alright, is there any question, guys? No, so therefore our decimal point is placed in this area here. Alright, our decimal place is put in that area there. Okay, so the answer is 500 divided by 125. The answer is 400. 4. Notice that there will be no more. Everything becomes whole number. Alright, everything becomes whole number. Now let's have another example. If I have here 68, 605, alright, 68.5 divided by 5. Okay, what you're going to do is you divide it first. Here we have 1, because 1 times 5 is equals to 5. Then we subtract this 1, it becomes 1. We bring down 8, it becomes 18. Now 18 divided by 5, the answer is 3, because 3 times 5 is equals to 15. We subtract this, the answer is 3. Then we bring down 5. Notice I did not bring down the decimal point. We solve it like it is a whole number. Alright, where are we going to put the decimal point? It is here. There. That is where you're going to put your decimal point. Not here. Alright? Not here. Alright, you're not going to put the decimal point here because these are whole numbers. So 35 divided by 5 is equals to 7. So therefore this becomes 35, which is minus, then it is equals to 0. Therefore your final answer here is 13.7. Alright, again, this is where you write the decimal point. Alright, here. Okay, here and here. That's it. So the answer would be 13.7. Okay. So I hope guys that this one is clear. This is the last topic that we will have in preparation for the next discussion that we're going to have. This is the last topic for basic skills with numbers. How do we simplify decimals and how do we rounding off? All right. Again, let's summarize this. In rounding off numbers, you make sure that numbers that you are going to round off, the number after that, it should be greater or lesser than 5. If not, if it is lesser than 5, then copy the number, or if it is more than 5, then add 1 to the number that you are going to round off. That's how we round off decimals. Next, operation with decimal numbers. You have in addition and subtraction. It's very important that you complete the block of numbers after you align everything. Make sure the decimal points are aligned, and then add or subtract them, and make sure you add 0 going to the right, not to the left, going to the right, so that the block of numbers will be complete. Okay, next, when you multiply it like it is a whole number. Right? Multiply it is like a whole number. After you have the product, all right, after you have the product, that's the time that you count the decimal point, and then you count the product, and that is where you're going to place your decimal point. In division also, you just divide it. You make sure that the divisor becomes a whole number. A divisor becomes a whole number. So when the divisor is a decimal, you move your dividend to farther to the right, according to how many decimal places are there in the divisor, so that the divisor become a whole number. And I hope our discussion today is clear. If you have any question, feel free to comment down, and I'll be very glad to answer your question. And second, make sure you're taking notes on every discussion that we're going to have, so that you have something to study. All right, again, if you have a question, feel free to comment down. Thank you guys. See you tomorrow. And by the way, don't forget, there will be a worksheet after this. Make sure you finished it. Thank you.